Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ukulele on the Ground podcast. My name is Aldrine Guerrero. Joining me are Mr. Aaron, the voice Nakamura. Say what's up, Aaron.
What's up?
And Mr. Kahai, the legend. Fergan, say what's up, legend.
Oh, what's up, legend?
Welcome to the Ukulele on the Ground podcast. This is where we A all your cues, right? Or I guess all your cues, that what we say? Yeah, we give our O's.
We say now.
We give our O's to your cues. Because what is that? It's just opinions. We give our opinions on your questions. Usually, we give answers like that are mostly accurate and correct and stuff, but we just kind of have to cover our tracks now, Kai. We don't want people to be like, okay, cool. So just drink ginger tea and you'll be just fine. And somebody drinks ginger tea and then they're not fine. Like, well, but Aldrine said, like, I don't want to be responsible for that, guy.
We don't want to get canceled.
Yeah, we're gonna get canceled. So these, let's just say our humble O's.
I'm gonna ignore everything that Emily said before that and only drink ginger tea. And Aldrine told me that I would be fine if I did that.
See, maybe our guests give right A's, but we give O's here. Let her deal with the repercussions. No. So it's been a while since it's just the three of us in this room, right? We had 2 weeks straight of guests, wonderful guests. We had Mike Odo, Kyle Ferruccio, Emily Ferruccio, and then I wasn't here last week. I was on Oahu helping out with Kane'olia's upcoming 25-year anniversary, which I didn't even remember. They reminded me that it's our 15-year anniversary for Ukulele Underground. Hey, congrats, guys. 15 years together. Yeah, you guys stoked? Because we started January, right, of 2007.
No.
2008.
8.
Okay, so yeah, that's why it's 2023. I keep forgetting. It's 23 now. So 15 years ago, everyone, January 2008, January 1st, was the first ever Ukulele Underground lesson that came out. That was a Clear song. Wasn't the Clear? It was a Clear song, right?
Love song?
Love song. Wasn't Love Song the first one?
I think so.
Yeah, Love Song, the very first Ukulele Underground lesson. The play-alongs didn't even exist yet. So if
although we did film a video for it.
Yes, we did. We did film a video, but no play along and stuff. And if you guys can tell me what is the very first play along that we've ever released, I'll give you something special because you are a true OG. The first person who can tell me, email it to questions@ukuleleunderground.com. I'll give you something really special.
Yep.
Okay, questions@ukuleleunderground.com. The first person to tell me what was the very first Ukulele Underground play along, I'll give them something nice and special. Because this is hard because it's no longer there. It got pulled.
Oh, really?
We got strikes on it. So
Really?
yes, I know which one it is too. It was filmed in Koloa. And it was Aaron's idea. Aaron's actually the mastermind of a lot of Ukulele Underground stuff, and I feel like you don't get enough credit for the stuff that you come up with. And Aaron, came up with the Ukulele Underground play-alongs, and he came over to my house, and we are gonna film the lesson. He's like, I kind of want to do this thing where they can, it'll help them actually learn the song. Because back then it was just like, okay, guys, the chords are this, and this is how you strum it. Here's the picking. All right, now go
listen to the
go
song.
listen to the song and just play it, right? That's how we did it. And Aaron's like, we got to do more than that for these people. So he came up with the play along, so that that whole here's the chords and lyrics on the bottom and the fretboard. You had to make that fretboard on Photoshop and animate it yourself and stuff. It was insane. So
Still doing that.
yeah. So a lot of the tutorials that you guys see now, a lot of modern tutorials that show all that stuff, it was basically just a play on whatever Aaron did 15 years ago. I guess less than 15 years ago, because it wasn't in the first
Song lessons.
But if I told you when it was, people will know what it is. So I don't want to say when the first play along was. But yeah. And we were doing just pure ukulele lessons for a while before we started doing play alongs. But yes, it's been 15 years, everybody. Yeah, give yourselves a nice round of applause. Yeah. Not you, Kai. You haven't been here for 15 years now.
Well,
we appreciate you, Kai. How long have you been here?
I graduated 2011
Okay.
And then I pretty much started working here, so 12 years maybe.
Oh wow, you've
Yeah.
been 12 years.
Or I guess
Did we do something for you for your 10 years?
I guess maybe
should.
it will be like 12 years because I think I started working at the end of 2011 or something like that, and then so yeah.
So,
11 years.
in honor of our 15-year anniversary, we're actually just gonna piggyback off of the Kanilea 25-year anniversary. So,
It's an easy one.
during the 25-year anniversary stream for Kanilea Ukulele, there's going to be a small segment which is the Ukulele Underground segment, and I'm going to be doing a little lesson there, so it's gonna be good fun. And you know what? Like the year just got started. You never know. We're gonna be doing some pretty fun stuff this year. So for our 15 years of Ukulele Underground, and if you guys have been supporting us in any way throughout the years, we just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We really appreciate it because of you, we get to do what we do. We're sitting here in a room talking about ukuleles and Nicktoons and stuff, and and this is what we do for Ukulele Underground, and I'm stoked to be doing what we do. We play music, we have fun, we get to teach people, we get to travel and meet the people behind the screens and stuff. And the sense of community really comes out. I love it. I love what has come from Ukulele Underground, and I love what it's about to become. So I'm so stoked for you guys to see what we have in store in the future. So hang on to your hats. We're coming at you with some more stuff. Just more ukulele things. Just doing more lessons. But we're stoked. We're stoked to have been here, and there not a lot of things last for 15 years, Kahai.
Yep.
I thought my Pokemon cards were gonna last for 15 years. Like, oh my god, there's a Pokemon craze and everything's super expensive. Let me go to my binder and see what kind of Pokemon cards I have. Bam, water damage everywhere. So, I have lasted on Ukulele Underground longer than my Pokemon cards have lasted in my Pokemon binder.
But no, those binders can protect against everything, right? They're super strong. No.
Yeah, and not to mention my Yu-Gi-Oh cards also did not make it.
Yeah,
but those weren't like in pristine condition when I played with those. So anyway, what we do here on the Ukulele Underground podcast, like we said, we answer or we give opinions to your questions. We get them via email. Via chat, via UU Plus, via the forum, wherever, which way we can get them. Or because we are live right now, we will answer any and all of your questions. So hopefully it's about ukulele, but we'll basically answer anything, right, Kahai?
Mm-hmm.
That's why, because they're opinions, we don't. So we can answer anything, like financial questions, like political questions. You guys want
Probably not. We'd have to have more disclaimers than the O's for your Q's.
Right on. Now, ask us anything. Just nothing that that would be.
We'll just ignore if we can't answer it. So.
There you go. Kai will filter out the questions that we shouldn't answer, and he'll just ask us the questions that we should. That I think is beneficial for the show. So here we go. Kahai, give us the first cue.
We're still waiting for people to come in.
Come in and cue us up. Yeah, everyone's been busy. So
actually, I got an email earlier this week.
Oh, okay.
And it was basically just somebody asking about UU Plus, the membership, but specifically because we offer they can book 2 private lessons per month. So he was Brian. He was just asking, can you tell me more about the Zoom lessons and what happens?
Good question. Yeah.
How do I book it and how does the flow go? How do I start off?
I love that that's the first question of the year, because that basically lets people know what we do here at Ukulele Underground. This is like the, our live streams, everybody can watch it and stuff, but for those people who are interested in what we do over at Ukulele Underground Plus, all that membership stuff that we do, it's actually pretty fun and really, really, really it's worth the money. It's worth the price of admission. It's $20 like a month or something. Let's just be upfront about about all the stuff. The cost there is $20, about $20 a month. But then a private lesson alone, like if I were to charge for a private lesson, say like you came here to Kauai and you went to see Mike over at what I was gonna say Kauai Music and Sounds. Scotty's Music. So Mike over at Scotty's Music and said, hey, how do I get in touch with Aldrine so I can take a private lesson here on Kauai? It would cost, for about half an hour, I usually charge $100. That's just me being straight up honest, like $100 for 30 minutes, one-on-one private lesson live.
And most of the time you don't do that anyway.
Yeah,
right?
and most of the time I'm like, no, I'm too busy or whatever, like that's if for some reason I'm like, I guess I'm not doing anything that Sunday, so I might as well, go help someone out and stuff. And that's the cost. 30 minutes of $100. So, for the 30 minutes a month that you get with me at UU Plus at $20, that's not just that. You have access to Ukulele Underground Plus, which is, in its own thing, it's worth the price of admission. We have lessons and workshops and series from a bunch of different people and teaching you a bunch of different things. Like we have one of my favorites, Chris Salvador. He's no longer active in the ukulele community, but he's one of the best teachers that I've ever met as far as ukulele goes. He really understands the instrument. He understands how the instrument works and how the physical part of playing ukulele. So he'll show you these awesome warm-ups and stuff. So if you've ever come to any of my workshop, you guys did that rock on inner peace, kind of thing. That's Chris Salvador. And that whole workshop of the essential elements of soloing available in UU Plus. That's just one. And we have series from Bruce Shimabukuro. We got something from Craig. Craig Cheese got that boot camp series that he did. So and that's just a few people. I think Kyle has done a solo, and I think Neil has taught Neil Chin has taught some stuff over there as well. Imua Garza has taught some stuff over there as well. We also have Ukulele Underground University, which we did a long time ago, and but it's still pretty relevant if you guys want to do it in kind of a classroom-like setting, Ukulele 101, 102, Hawaiian, whatever, blues, whatever you guys want to learn, that's all there. And you have access to what else? Series that we have 30 days, get better in 30 days, which is the practice sessions, which if you don't know how to practice your instrument, or if you want to learn a more efficient way to practice your instrument, we have that as well. Okay. And so now that you guys kind of understand how UU Plus works, so you pay the $20 a month to have access to all those videos. And I think it's important to say that because that has something to do with the private lessons itself, because all that content, you can learn how to play ukulele from all that content. The private lesson, with that we do, because I just got this question, this past week that hey, can I do a longer private lesson with you? Can I pay you more to do 30 minutes or whatever to get an hour private lesson, with you so that you can teach me this song or whatever, And quite honestly, everything on the site is what I would teach you in that private lesson. So if you just know where to look on the site, that will teach you what you need to know. We have UU Plus, UU Plus Solos, which I haven't even gotten to yet. UU Plus Solos is how to play solo pieces in your ukulele. There's step-by-step instructions there and a play along. So the private lessons is 15 minutes of time with me, and it's on Zoom, and we can cover whatever you want for those 15 minutes. So usually, the way that it goes is the first one that we do is just me kind of getting to know you. Okay, so if you were to have your very first private lesson with me on UU Plus, we would sit down and I would ask you a bunch of questions just to kind of get to know you a little bit, get to know your musical background, when you picked up the ukulele, how long you've been playing, what you like to play, what are your goals, and what we can do to kind of achieve those goals that you're setting out for yourself. Okay, and then I kind of watch how you play. And then we start to work on form first, because once we get through form, which is how to hold the ukulele, how to kind of strum correctly, all these things, we want to be able to get that, and then we'll work on the individual songs, okay, that you guys wanna learn. And then what happens then is we'll pick a piece, for example, or you can pick a piece that's not on Ukulele on the Ground or that is on Ukulele on the Ground. It's easier if it's on Ukulele on the Ground, but like I said, we can cover anything. And just say, hey, okay, I want to work on this piece. I'm like, right on. And I will guide you through the piece. So if it's something that's not on Ukulele on the Ground, for example, we'll take maybe just the first lines of the verse. I want to hear it. I want to, if you can like send like the music that you're looking at to me. We can look at it together. We can kind of work out, you know, the song. You can record these 15-minute private lessons, by the way. We forgot to mention that, so that you can always have it, so that you are not wasting time. You know, like you can ask the question, I can answer it, and you can always go back and watch that over again, just in case that there was something that you missed, or you're like, oh, what did Aldrine say? And yeah, we can tailor it to whatever you want, basically, those 15 minutes. And then, since you have 2 of those a month, what I suggest is to stagger it every other week. So we'll go over it. I'll give you some advice. I'll tell you what to work on. I'll tell you, I'll give you some feedback on however you're doing with that piece. You have the week, that the rest of that week and the week after to work on that piece. And then the week after that, we'll meet again for the second time. Show me what you worked on, and show me how, what you got stuck on, what you did really good, what you thought was easy, what you thought was hard, and maybe something that you were confused with or whatever. I'll go over it, I'll explain it, and then we'll cover a little bit more. So that's kind of the flow of the of the private lessons. Because if it's, say, you wanted a lot of people want a 30-minute private lesson, 1 hour private lesson. If I can cram or not, it's tough, because retention for me is a very, very, very important thing. If I were to teach you, say, a song, from the first 15 minutes, and we're going through, say, I want to learn While My Guitar Gently Weeps or whatever, learn that song. So we're learning that song, right? And that's the first 15, 30 minutes is that first part. By the time we get to the next part, the retention is going to go down already, because as you gain more information in that lesson, the information in the beginning tends to go down and tends to kind of, just get lost. I'll give you an example. If you've ever been to an ukulele festival, right? If you go to a festival that has multiple workshops in that day, you go to the first workshop, you learn tons of things. The more workshops that you attend, the less you're going to retain from these other workshops that you've done. I'm not saying don't go to them or whatever. Yeah. If you do go to them, make sure you record it. Make sure that you have a way to kind of watch it over again. Okay? But I feel that in 15 minutes is the most efficient way for me to take a look at what you're doing, give you some advice, and kind of give you direction, so that you go ahead and go practice whatever we worked on. It gives you time before we can see each other again. If you want to learn something, it's on Ukulele Underground. So it's not just the 15 minutes of time with me that you're learning. You can be constantly learning by watching things on the site. I'm probably going to be giving you, some links to some of the stuff on Ukulele Underground. Okay, watch this, work on this, check this out, or whatever it may be. Okay, so that's why 15 minutes I feel is enough time. For those of you folks who have done it already, you know exactly what I mean. In the 15 minutes, we go through so much stuff, and it cuts the fat, and it's it actually gets rid of just talking story.
Yeah.
A lot of the times we just, once it's done, we just kind of talk. Not that I don't want to talk story with you folks. It's just the fact that this is supposed to be a lesson where we sit down and learn things and stuff. Not saying that we can't say hello or hi for the first 5 minutes. If that's what you want to do, we can do that. Yeah. But I just don't want you to be wasting. It's almost like paying for the privilege to hang out with me for half an hour. It's not that. Yeah.
You can come to our Wednesday show.
Yeah, and hang out with us for an hour or whatever.
Because you have done half hour long lessons, and then
in the past,
would you say that those lessons even it's we get it done within the first half, and then the rest of it is it's fun, but it's we're not working towards your goal anymore, right? It's just other stuff,
especially for beginners. For beginners, if you're gonna work on a technique or a couple of techniques, that's really all you can cram into that beginner's in that beginner's mind. If you're gonna keep giving them information after information after information, it's too much. The retention is gonna go way down. So I feel this is the best approach. And I think that UU Plus with the private lessons is one of the best structures that we've ever done here on Ukulele Underground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the follow-up question was also like, what is the difference between private lessons and live coaching?
Okay,
because
good.
we
Very
offer
good.
the live coaching as well, like every week.
Oh yeah, see, there's like so much stuff on UU Plus that I didn't even cover. So there's another thing called the live coaching, which happens pretty much after this show. So every Friday we do this live stream from 1 to 2, right? Which is either the Ukulele on the Ground Aloha Friday Live Jam or the Ukulele on the Ground podcast. After that podcast, 20 minutes after the at 2:20 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, we open up a Zoom room where you guys can come in and ask me questions. So what that is, it's not private because it's a room where a bunch of people can come in. You can ask me questions in there. It's usually like 1-2 questions per person, just to kind of have me check in on how you're doing and your progress. So it's more than just the 15 minutes that you get with me. You can check in on that Friday. It's like, hey, do you remember that song that we were working on in the private lesson? Here's how far I got or whatever. And I can give you some feedback and then go off and learn some more. I can see you the next Friday or whenever our next private lesson is. It's really, I'm proud of how much FaceTime I'm able to give to all our subscribers, and because you guys like monetarily support us, in our venture, I feel like it's important for me to be able to reward those people who have supported us or who are willing to support us monetarily with as much of my time as possible. So I don't want to just be like, well, you just watch this video and then go watch that. That's it. I want to be almost hands-on. Like I'm an educator at heart, and now more so, not to go off tangent and stuff, but like my child going to preschool right now, there's a difference. She's gone to 2 different years of preschool, and she's had 2 different sets of teachers. There's a big difference between like a teacher that is hands-on, that really cares about your progress, versus somebody who's just there to like, okay, well, go do this worksheet or go do this or go do that or whatever. Like I want to be as as involved in your progress as much as possible. And like I said, I know it's a lot of things that I'm saying, but the people who have signed up for UU Plus, who have done this, who have done the private lessons and have done the live coaching, know for a fact how hands-on it feels like with and how much FaceTime with me and how involved I am in your progress.
So. And then you can see the difference too, like the people that show up for the private lessons and to the private coach or the live coaching, like you can see their progress.
It's super rewarding. Like I love it. And it kind of, makes me happy that I chose this as my profession, because I wanted to be a teacher, I wanted that, like seeing like these, like the kids like learning things and evolving and whatnot. Now I get to do that same thing, but for Ukulele Underground, we have kids who do the program, and it's just amazing to see their progress and just to see them having fun with the instruments. And seeing them like play some really, really cool stuff,
I always like telling the story about Hamsini.
Yeah.
And her dad messaged me, and he was like, oh, like because of the time difference, it's like Hamsini has to wake up super early to make her like private lesson. Is there any way that like she can get a later private lesson? And then he emailed me that, and then I think I emailed you, or like I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
But then like after we talked, like I didn't even get the chance to email him back. He was like, oh, I just talked to Hamsini and she said I can wake up earlier for the private lesson anyway, so it's okay, you don't have to do anything. And it's like, that is like dedication. And
it shows she's doing amazing.
So if you've joined us for the open mic, Hamsini is the little girl who is a twin. So it's usually her and her twin sister that show up. And they live in India, right? So that's what the time difference that Kahai is referring to. But pretty amazing, and she's just getting better and better, and quickly. But that's the thing too. It's not just kids. Like you can see the other people who, like people of all ages. The ones that show up for private lessons or for the live coaching every week, like those are the ones that are getting better faster.
And it's part of your subscription. You just use it. It's like it doesn't cost you anything extra to book the private lesson or to or to attend the live coaching. So
I think like even people who like our Plus forum is also like made so that people can leave us questions and we can answer it on the podcast. Like the podcast was actually made first, right, for like us to do before we could do live coaching or private coaching. We would watch, people would send in videos of themselves. We'd watch it and we'd give tech checks. That's what we used to call it. And but then like even that, like people who used to do that, we could see them grow, and then like some of them now where it's like they're like professional musicians who play, you know, for like they might not do it like 100% like that's their full-time job, but they play festivals or they play shows and stuff, and we're always like so proud of them. So even that, if you can't make a private lesson or make live coaching, because we know like the time zones don't work for everybody, like you can still send us in a video and we'll try to give you feedback. Or like even I feel like even people who just are actively asking questions in the forum, you like if we can answer your questions or give our opinions to your questions, I feel like a lot of them are like, oh, thank you so much, because that helped like speed up, or it, you know, I didn't have to like go and look out for like the answer myself. I could just get it and then I can move on already. So
what's cool is I say that, you know, I'm a teacher heart and stuff. I think if you watch any of the especially the recent ones, like the recent open mics, like just like the look of pride that I have whenever like you know, like our students are playing their music, and you know I always try to give feedback and stuff, and try to encourage, you know, more of the performances, more of the you know, like just enjoying of ukulele. And you'll see like how proud I am. Oh man, look at them go! Look at them go!
Yeah,
you know, it's so good. It's really fulfilling. So I dig it a lot.
Usually while they're playing, right, we're just like talking behind here. We don't have the mic on, but we're like, man, they're doing so good, or they got so much better from like last month or the last time we saw them. So it's awesome.
And it's not any one person. It's like pretty much all the people that have worked with. Or that I've just been fortunate to work with, you know, so it's really cool. But this actually leads me to, hopefully that answers your question, but this leads me to a great segue to a question that I wanted to ask all of you folks. For those of you who have done the private lessons, okay, and those of you folks who are interested in the private lessons, because your subscription comes with 2 15-minute private lessons. Would you guys be interested in a system where you could get more? I guess is what I'm asking. Is that a right way to phrase it? Okay. Would you guys be interested in a system to potentially get more private lessons in a month? You know, like say you're like, okay, well, you know, I like the 15-minute whatever, but I want it every week. So if I could get, you know, like 2 extra 15-minute private lessons so that every week I can come see you or whatever. Would you guys be interested in something like that? Because we've basically told everyone that we're trying to rebuild the, you know, and come up with a whole new fresh look for the website. And that's one of the things that we're trying to consider, because we get this question a lot of like, you know, what if I wanted a longer private lesson with you? Or what if I wanted to have more or whatever? You know, there is somebody who didn't understand how the private lessons work. And I showed it to Aaron.
They like, booked every slot.
Every single slot. So
that's not how it works. No. Sorry.
But would you guys be interested in something like that? You know, we'll make sure to think about like a fair way to kind of price that. But we just want to see if there's interest in it, because I know there's been people that told me that they'd be interested in it, but I kind of want to put it publicly out there to see if there's interest in more private lessons.
Yeah. So for UU Plus members, you would still get
the 2. Yeah, you don't get
your regular 2.
We're not taking it away or anything.
Yeah. 2 lessons per month.
But we'll see.
But yeah, it's sort of dependent on like how much you can scale your time, right?
But you know, if I gotta extend some hours, I gotta extend some hours. Like I really would like to see people more.
It's also kind of like we're still trying to figure out on the back end how to make that work system wise too, right? So
because the private lessons, the scenery that you see here, like where we have like the professional like looking, you know, like tutorials and videos, that's not the scene like for the private lessons. It's at my house in my time. That's That's my like like my time at home that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna dedicate it to our subscribers. That's really it, and that's. I don't know how else to sugarcoat that. It's my house. People who have, and like with my figurines in the back and whatever it may be, like I'm wearing, I don't know, like sweatpants, like it's super casual and it's just me at home. But I promise I'll wear pants. Pants, pants will be worn. Pants will be worn. Yeah, so that's it. Let us know if you guys would be interested in in what's the word? Acquiring more private lessons about that. Yeah, because we'll try to see if we can make that an option for some people. They're like, hey, I would like, and it's not any kind of commitment where like if you pay this much for your subscription, then you get nothing like that. That's not what we're trying to do here. It's just like one more, or like I have this thing coming up, I have like some kind of recital or some kind of performance, I would really like more time with you, just for this month or whatever, like that is what we're talking about. Like, so you could possibly get that, if you really want that 30, 45, 1 hour lesson, I guess you could get that extra slots and just book that whole thing. I guess will allow people to take up that time.
I think we also want we have some rules with booking private lessons too. When you like go to the actual private lesson page, like we ask that you don't book like multiple slots on the same day, right? Because some people will use their 2 slots and then just book it on the same day. But then it's like we're kind of trying to make it so that people have like a bunch of our members have the opportunity to do it. So I don't think we'll make it where it's like somebody's like, I'm gonna just buy up the whole month. Is like no, but then we'll try and see if we can make it a way where it's like you can get more time or something.
Because time, that's like, I mean, I want to help as much as possible, but that's kind of the tough part. And if I'm being candid and stuff, because it's pretty much public knowledge that I'm about to have another kid soon. And that is going to take some of my time, but I'm not taking anything away. I'm still going to be there like the Monday and Tuesday private lessons. And if I have to add like another day just to accommodate, like if we were to roll this out, I'll do it. I'll do it. My 2-month-old in the back.
Yep.
Okay. So, okay, next.
We had a couple of questions that are pretty easy, I think, for you to answer.
Okay, sure.
We'll just do these right out of the way. Somebody, Juan asked if you've played a wedding, and then Andre asked if you played in Europe.
I have played a wedding. I just played a wedding yesterday. Like I just actually came back from playing a wedding. My friend from high school. It's like 8th grade, middle school. I guess we've been friends since middle school. He recently got married, and he told me like, oh, it's gonna be on Oahu, so I flew over and I played a couple songs and stuff. But we don't normally do weddings, I guess, like, so don't take that as like, okay, cool, we can hire you guys and whatever. We don't normally do that. But if the question is, have you done weddings? The answer is yes, we have done weddings. I just did one, but would you do weddings is a different question. Because it's like, okay, let me explain this. Weddings are supposed to be about the bride and the groom, okay? Like that's it. Like that's bottom line, supposed to be about the bride and the groom. Bride first and then the groom. I've been married, okay? That's how it works. Sorry guys, but that's just how it works. Bride first and then the groom, okay? So how Aaron and I play music, it's very
the Aldrine Guerrero show is about Aldrine Guerrero.
Basically, it's the Aldrine Guerrero show. So if you guys have seen any of our Wednesday nights at Oasis or any like live shows that we've done, it's like, I turn into a completely different person up on stage, and it's like, it's the same. It's the same energy as like if you go to, I don't want to say names, you're like, oh, so he thinks he's this person or whatever. But it's that. It's like it's the Aldrine Guerrero show. Like look at me, look at what I'm doing by ukulele. Look at this song that I'm about to sing for you. And if you're not, you know, like then I'm not doing a good job if you're not paying attention to what I'm doing or to me, you know. If I'm playing at a restaurant and you're eating and not looking at us, maybe I'll play a harder song to get your attention or whatever it may be. You know, it's that. So I don't want to bring that energy to a wedding that is about the bride and the groom.
Yeah,
because
that's
I
also
can't
the reason
help
why
myself.
that we only play at one place is because the restaurant doesn't mind that we do that.
That we make it about us, because most restaurants are like, dude, we just wanted like background live music, you know, like it's not a show. We're like, okay, well, never mind that. Like,
well, I guess we're not gonna play there.
I guess we're not gonna play. I guess we're not gonna play that. We play shows, you know, like that's and basically like the restaurant just hosts the show that we're playing. Like that's how we do things. So we don't. A lot of people are like, "Hey, where else do you guys play or whatever?" Like, we just play here. This is the only place that will allow us to make this much noise. So Oasis is the only place on Kauai that we do that. But yeah, so I don't normally do so. But if it's like a special occasion, like for a friend that I've known since like the 8th grade, then yeah, I'll come and I'll play the Bob's Burgers theme as you walk out. That's
like you do it for friends too, because like they know you and they know like what to expect from you, right? So it's not like when you start playing, it's like, oh, this isn't. I thought he was gonna play like, you know, some sonata music as we walk down. It's not gonna like
because like I mean that's the thing too. I give lots and lots of credit to wedding musicians, because that's a completely different beast. I mean, like you are at the mercy of like what the bride wants you to play, you know, like, and I don't do that. Like,
a lot of that like requires like learning specific songs for them, and
so it's like, oh, this, you know, I really want my first dance to be, you know, this song. I want to dance with my, you know, with my dad or whatever, you know, like the bride and the father of the bride kind of dance thing. And we have this song, and then me and my husband or my fiance have this song. So I got to learn those 2 songs. Yeah. And then it's like,
and you have to play them as well as the original.
Yeah, as well as the original, or else you're ruining their wedding. And here's the thing. Okay, I'm just gonna be completely blunt, honest, and very, very candid right now. Wedding musicians, I give you all the credit because you're not getting paid for that. To learn those 2 songs, that's outside of like, oh, okay, well, you know, the wedding is from this time to this time, so I'm gonna pay you for the 2 hours that you're there at my wedding playing that music or whatever it is, you know? But you don't get paid for like the 10, 20 hours that you're taking to learn, memorize, listen to, you know, the song that they want you to play. So props to you, wedding musicians, because that is something that I just can't get behind. You know, like I feel that like that's work. You know, like that's work.
Part of it.
That's part of it. Like you're learning that song, you're practicing it, you're learning the lyrics. You're constantly singing in the car, whatever it may be, just so that you don't mess it up. Like you know, at the wedding.
For their special moment.
Like that's so shame, you know?
If you
that's lots and lots of, and people don't think about that, but I do.
Yeah.
And
I think, because like,
a lot of pressure.
Because when like wedding musicians play and it goes well, then nobody notices, right? It's only when it doesn't go well that people are like, oh, they weren't that great.
Wedding band is terrible or whatever.
Yeah. You know? But then it is very much a skill set, right? Where it's like you don't want musicians who will overplay a song too, right? If it's just supposed to be like, oh, this is our post-wedding, we're just having lunch or dinner, and it's just calm music. It's like you don't want to have musicians who are like, whoa, okay, I can't hear anybody else. And good musicians, like, are good wedding musicians, will play at like know that, and will play at a volume where it's like the party is still happening, but people can like listen, get up, dance, and do stuff. But then it's not like, hey guys, we're the, you know, like you guys have to listen to us. So it is like a special skill set, different from just like any musician.
So that's how I feel about weddings. That's why we very rarely do weddings. And I mean, like, if I'm willing to put the work, that's a lot of, you can make a lot of money doing like wedding music and stuff. So like, I guess,
especially in Hawaii, because that weddings happen every single day here.
Right. You know, especially being an ukulele player, you know, like, but for me, it's just one of those, my pride as an artist, you know, it's just my artist pride, like just don't want to do it. I think that's really it. It's just like, you could put on the CD and it would be 10 times better than what I could do, you know, like however I would sing that song or whatever it may be, you know, like so I'm not saying that like, oh, I think I'm too good for that. No, it's actually the opposite. Like, I don't want to ruin
I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough to do that. Yeah. And when I do play my set that I want to play, it's like, hey everyone, check out this crazy ukulele solo that I'm about to do. Forget about the bride for a second. Look at this, you know?
Yeah.
So it's it doesn't mix well, and I don't want to put anybody in that position. So
I've heard of like how much wedding musicians have to go through, and it's man. It's like, okay, learn these songs by our wedding in a month, right? It's like, okay, we got some of these are staples, so we already got it, but we got to learn some more. And then all of a sudden you might like, get there, you're playing, and then somebody's like, hey, can I sing with you guys this song that you've never heard before or never?
Oh, gosh.
It's like, okay, we'll figure it out,
like
right?
Drunk uncle.
Yeah. So it's like, I think solely, like, I couldn't do that. I played I played for my cousin for a wedding, and that was like super easy. And I just had a dinner with my family and they were like, wow, it's so impressive that you played. But it was like, I just played chords. Like, that's it. It was like super easy.
Yeah.
Real wedding musicians who play like from the time you get there to the time you leave, those guys are like monsters.
Yeah.
They're so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to mention like what really grinds my gears is, I'm going to say the word, Kai. It's people that want you to do it for exposure.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Nothing is more offensive than like, well, you'll be exposed to like all these. Can you just do it for exposure or whatever? So that like, I'm not saying that like I'm better than that. That like that I don't need exposure or whatever. But like, no, you compensate people for their
Yeah, we're saying it for all the musicians.
Yeah, for all the musicians. Like all the musicians get paid for the work that they do. Really, like, I will stand by that. I'll die on that hill. That is a complete O for me. That's my opinion, and I'll die on that hill. I think like it's don't say exposure. I don't pay. Like $50, $100 is a long way. Just as a token of like appreciation. Don't just like, okay, well it's free, right?
So if you're putting on a wedding and you're asking a musician to play like,
for free for exposure,
please give them something.
Anything. Play for food. Like I played for food. That's fine because I was a starting musician trying to get exposure or whatever. But you don't dictate that. Like you don't tell me that like. But if I wanted to do it.
If I
offered, then that's different.
Please pay them and please give them food, right? Like, please, because I've heard of that too. Please,
it's not the payment.
Oh my gosh, yeah. If you're playing music, I think people just like don't realize like I'm also hungry. I didn't, if this is like a lunch or dinner wedding, I also didn't eat lunch or dinner. So
setting up and playing for this wedding.
Yeah, if I can have 5 minutes where I can just eat a little bit, that'd be great.
Yeah. So. And like, I don't know, like this is the diva part coming out and stuff, but like it's tough to eat and then play like right after especially if you're a singer, like it's tough to sing after being full. For those people that don't know that, now you do. And that musician, like some musicians will choose not to eat until after they're done. So it can be like after the dinner's done or whatever, it's like super late. They don't get to eat till like 10 o'clock or whatever it may be, because they want to make it good for you. It's all for you, So they don't want to like eat the food, get super full, and then like have like all the phlegm in their throat because of whatever like cream of mushroom thing that the sauce on that chicken, and they mess up the song or like start coughing in the middle of it. They're like, what happened?
And professional musicians, right? Like they'll go without eating for like the whole wedding, but they won't like complain or be like, "Oh, guys, I'm so hungry." They'll just keep playing until the very end. So, and if they're like, kind of nice or too nice, they might not even ask for food. So please, like, if you're hiring musicians for a wedding, pay them and give them food, please.
Just give it to them. Just make a plate.
Yeah.
Like that's the best part. It's like somebody makes a plate and just puts it on the side for the musicians. So whenever they're ready to eat, like you gotta eat that. Like that's
or if you have catering, right? Like kind of ask them like, "Oh, hey, can you guys like make sure that there's enough for the musicians too?"
Yeah. You can tell that I've done way too many like parties and weddings and things like that. That's where I came from. I plowed those fields, everybody. I've paid my dues. I have paid my dues in food and like exposure. Yep. So I know all about that. I've just a little background about myself. I've been playing music professionally, like for bars and parties and stuff since I was like 14, 15 years old. And like I had to get like liquor licenses so that I could play at places with with alcohol and stuff. And at that point, as a 15-year-old, like I mean, I guess it was back then in like late 90s or whatever, but that $20 that you get goes a long way, man. It's because we had to split it between like 4 guys or whatever. Like so it's like $100 for the gig, and we get like $25 or whatever each, and that would go a long way, but it's still something. But and we definitely did a lot of parties where nobody cared about us, but like we practiced like all month, all week, because we want to be able to show everybody like what we're made of, like how we sound or whatever. And but no claps even, because that's not what they're there for. They're there for the party or whatever it may be. A birthday, a wedding, a retirement, whatever. We've done it all. I've done it all. So okay, now the second question was,
Andre asked if you played in Europe.
I have. I actually love Europe. I wish to go more, and we recently just got an opportunity to go. So I don't know. I don't want to jump the gun and say we're going, because I have to weigh out some stuff. Anyway, I've done Italy, which is awesome. We've done Caldogno in Italy. We've done Great Britain, and we've done Czech Republic. Those are the places that I've played at in Europe. I've visited some places and stuff, but haven't really done like a proper show. I've done maybe just like a small little demo thing. But other than that, those are the 3 places in Europe that I've played at. UK was awesome, and it was we've done like a few places in the UK, and I loved it. Czech was also awesome, and so was Italy. I got engaged in Italy on stage at a stage in Italy. So love it. Love the enthusiasm for ukulele there. I love that, like here in Hawaii, it's very like I'm this. Like the ukulele players here are like just not serious, but like very serious. Like I am this. Take me as a serious musician. I'm gonna play these whatever lines and stuff. But in Europe, I love that it's not enough to just be an ukulele player, but you have to have some kind of gimmick to go in. And I love that, because I'm a big wrestling fan. Like so gimmicks. Oh, I love gimmicks. There's this one. It was for the Ukulele Festival of Great Britain. There was like that one group that had like they had like steampunk costumes and stuff. Like, what is this? You would never see that in America. It was insane. Like, so even just regular ukulele groups had like some kind of gimmick thing that they were doing. I love it, because it's not just about like, okay, music, sure, musicality and being a great whatever musician or player and stuff, but it's like also about having fun with the instrument. I love that. So Europe, I don't know, email me if you guys ever want us to come up there and stuff. We don't have a strong gimmick, but I guess I can put a cape on or something, Super uke. But love it. Been there. I have done shows, and I hope I can.
The thing is that not just the performers dress up for these things.
That's right, yeah.
It's just like everybody that attends has something going on.
Has some kind of gimmick. It's awesome. It's so fun. It's so fun. I love it. And because I love like going the Asian like ukulele community where we go there and it's tons of fun too stuff but
Asia,
I feel that like there because it's Asia and I'm saying this because I'm Asian from Asia if anybody forgot like it's one of those like it's very competitive it's like everybody strives to be the best, not saying that you shouldn't, but it's kind of like some of the fun factor is taken out a little bit, but I love that Europe keeps it nice and like not that serious. But then you got great serious players also, like Andy Eastwood, he's amazing, but he's got kind of like a like a personality.
They take
and
their
stuff,
craft seriously.
Yeah.
But they know what they're going
it's awesome.
for.
It's awesome, Like if you guys don't know like Andy, go check him out. He's awesome.
Like they're serious performers, right? Like that they're what they're putting their effort and time towards is like a little bit different, but they're still serious about their performance and putting a good performance.
Yeah. Who else? Like Ukulele Zaza, Ukulele Uff, the Dead Man's Uke. It's some great great performers and just great like gimmicks. I love it. Bad Mouse Orchestra, like they play like 20s music and stuff, and they have the bowler hats going on, and they're it's awesome. I love it. I love the music scene or the ukulele scene in Europe. I wish I could go more. Just like I can't even say that enough. I wish I could go more.
Yep.
I know it's pricey though to bring somebody from Hawaii over, but I just want to experience more of that culture. Yeah, next.
So there's Karma Vive.
Okay.
Said, I'm a legally blind ukulele player. I've been playing for a year and a half. I have to memorize and learn by ear.
Yeah.
Any advice on how to continue developing my ear to make learning more efficient?
Oh, man. Okay. This is a tough one because no matter what I say, I can just never relate, like to having that kind of, situation. So how do you like... I have questions for you, if anything.
Yeah.
But
although you do have some experience with this because I remember
like in the dark.
Yeah.
That's true. Because I would I would either blindfold myself or play in the dark just so that like I know the feel of my instrument and still like try to learn things by ear. My advice is to learn more about like not just music theory but chord families. Okay, chord families and their respective scales that go along with it. And why that is because if your ear can hear one or two chords, then with the knowledge of the chord family, that'll give you ideas and hints of what the other chords might be in that in that song. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out chord families and just learn all the chord families and all the keys because that's as I was learning how to play ukulele and I was listening, like getting the Pure Heart albums, the Kyle Crater Boys albums, I noticed that some chords just always seem to go together. I would play, mountains roll down to the sea. I wish that you were here with me. So that F, B flat, C7, every time I would figure out a song that had an F chord in it. I would always see if B flat's there or C7's there because that's part of that F chord family. If it's not there, then I would think that maybe it's in C because C also has that F in there. And it's just one of those kind of connecting the dots kind of thing. So if I get one chord, that gives me hints of what chord family or key that might belong to. If I can figure out the key, if you know like the scale and stuff, if you figure out the key to that song, you'll not only figure out the notes that you need, you'll also figure out the chord family, which then gives you the chords, what possible chords that are coming up. And if you train your ear enough, then you'll hear if there is a chord that's outside of the family, and that's easier to identify because you're like, okay, well that doesn't sound like how it normally sounds. So that's like when you start to kind of experiment to see like, okay, what could that be? And that's where the fun starts. Okay, but my biggest advice would be to learn chord families and to learn to identify the patterns because That's really what music is, just a bunch of different patterns that repeating over and over again. Okay?
Yeah. I think if you learn one chord family, like how you can really like nail it down is just try and look for songs using that chord family.
Yeah.
So if it's the chord family with the key of C, then just look for songs in the key of C.
Yeah.
And then that's where you'll kind of connect the dots where it's like, okay, whenever you play these chords, usually they're played together.
Yeah.
And even like usually they're played in a certain sequence, or these chords just come one after the other.
Yeah.
So it's like easy to, I don't know, you just start to recognize patterns really.
Right. And if you know the chord families and the chords in those chord families, even like figuring out pickings and stuff like is a lot, is a lot easier, because all the notes in those chords are going to be present in the notes in the scale, which is present in the notes in the solos. So if you're trying to figure out a solo, most likely they're already in the chords that you're playing.
Yeah.
So if you just kind of learn the full scale on top of that, and even better, then you have the tools to figure out any solo that you want.
I think if you kind of know chord families already and you know like maybe a few scales, I think the step 2 is like instead of like trying to find like a lesson or like somebody explaining how the song is played, maybe just try and listen to the song and see if you can figure out just from the song itself like what notes are being played or what sounds right when you try to play along with it. And even if you don't get the full song or you don't get like all the chords or all the notes, like if you get like a few, I think that builds up a lot of people's confidence with listening and playing by ear, right?
Yeah.
So like just try and get like a few, just try and get one even. And if you get one, it's like, okay, I got one. Now I'll try to get 2. Now I'll try to get 3. And then maybe if you get like most of them, but you have a few chords here and there that you're not sure of, or if you think you have most of the songs, then check out a lesson and like just cross check to make sure like, okay, I actually did get most of them, but I have like a couple chords missing or I have a couple notes missing. So
a thing
for as far as like music goes, do you actually think that there could be advantages to being like legally blind?
Yeah, but I'm sure, like, because you then kind of get rid of like because when you're seeing the notes that you're playing and whatever, like it kind of like makes you reliant on like certain formulas and certain
or
like rules. I guess,
noticed
right?
that a lot of ukulele players are like really reliant on their sheet music.
Yeah.
So if you
do it by feel.
Yeah, and even that like the feel.
Yeah.
Like I noticed that when we play music, because we played the songs over and over, and I know the song, if I can like lock into the feeling instead of like every time that I think about like, oh, what chord is coming up next, that's when I mess up. But if you're going by feel and going by like what sounds good, then maybe there is some advantage to that.
Yeah, there was even like a time where we were jamming, right? Like the 3 of us and Kyle, we were just like jamming out, and then after we played a song, like we kind of talked about it, and we're like, oh, none of us are playing the same chords. Like we're all kind of like there are chords that are like maybe a little bit close or maybe a little off, or like sometimes we just held the muted the string. But it sounded okay because we're like kind of playing in time more than the chords itself.
Yeah.
And we can know how to play like close enough where it's like, I think most people will listen to that and be like, I couldn't even tell that you guys didn't know the chords or like were figuring it out as you went along, right?
Yeah.
So there's a skill set of like being able to read music, but I think for all of us, we're like more of that musician that like just relies on our hearing and then can jump in and out with other musicians, and that's definitely like a skill set that is used for playing with other people. That's highly used for playing with other people. So.
And so going back to what Aaron was saying, like in the beginning, I tried to practice like in the dark at nighttime and stuff, and just kind of lay down and like and play my ukulele like in the dark, just so that like I can kind of rely on feel.
Yeah.
Like as far as like, not relying on my sight to like, okay, well, this going here or this note there or whatever, like this is how to play body surfing. Like there's a visual aspect to like, okay, I'm gonna move here, then to here, then to here. But then when you take away the visual aspect and you're just trying to feel it,
like you just gotta know how far your hand has to move for the next position and the next position.
So and it kind of makes it so that you don't quite know the roadmap. So having the roadmap is great, but also like driving blind is is fun too. So that's why like I really loved practicing in the dark back then, just because like if imagine just taking your car out for a drive, going nowhere, like you just, but you know the roads, you know,
you can like, see like just in front of you.
And that's it. And just follow where it goes. Like it actually is really, really, really rewarding.
Yeah. I even got an experience where I think the seeing and relying on sight actually affected somebody like not as great. Or is kind of like a downfall, because like my cousin's husband, he was playing. I brought my uke and he was playing to it, and he was using just like a song where like it shows the chords as it's playing the song, and he's playing along to it, and he was like focused on that, and he was trying to hold a C chord, but he was on the 4th fret, and he was playing, and like I know for me, if I ever held the chord wrong or like a fret off or up and down, I would almost immediately know that, oh, this is off, and then slide down or slide up. So that's where I can play by feeling. But I think because he was so focused on watching the chords go by, that he was like, well, I'm just holding what I know as a C, and I'm more focused on what the next chord is coming up is. Yeah. And I wanted to be like, come on, scooch over just a little bit. You almost got it. But so that's where it's like and I think I've seen it with other musicians too, who are more reliant on reading music and their sight than listening or the feeling of it, where they're like looking at it and they're like, since I'm looking at it, it looks right. It looks like that's the chord I'm supposed to be playing, but they can't hear that. It's like, oh, you're a little off. So you can make adjustments, right?
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe I would prefer more like the legally blind people to watch our lessons, because they don't have to look at my mug when they're learning things. They can just they enjoy the lesson without having to like have their eyes like subject to looking at me.
Actually, we've had UU Plus members that were legally blind, and one of the feedback the feedback that we got from them was like, I really like that you say, oh, put your ring finger on the 3rd fret C string or whatever it is, and so because you said that, then
I guess never thought of it that way.
Some of the transcription software worked better, and
I totally meant to do that. No, actually, I did. I did. That's been my style since the very, very beginning. Where like very elementary school teacher will like, let's take our ring finger, let's place it on an A string 3rd fret. That's a bottom string 3rd fret. Everybody like
and then slide up to the 5th fret or whatever, and that just those audio cues helped.
Because sometimes like it's kind of intimidating. I mean, as a musician who's played for a while, I kind of want to watch tutorials. They're like, okay, we'll play the A, E, whatever. Like a more like music jargon. They're kind of using, as opposed to like, okay, pinky finger here. They're usually like, okay, 1st finger or 2nd finger on the whatever, on this, on the A note, on the whatever. So it's I want to keep my style that same way, just so that it's accessible to everyone. And I guess that's confirmation that it's really accessible to everybody. So cool. It makes me feel good. Thank you. Wow, what a way to start my year, everybody.
Oh, there's somebody in the chat really quick. Sure. You like how you're talking about playing in the dark and then you can slide from one position to the next. Does that affect, like, if you were on a concert versus like a tenor or like a
I mean, like the feeling would change, but if you've played enough, like soprano concert, like tenor, you're gonna know right away. Like it's like there is a difference, but then like this range here, like of the fretboard, you can feel the adjustment when you're playing a smaller instrument. I don't know if that makes sense, but like just playing maybe just the first few measures, you'll understand like where the notes are or the frets are.
Taking it back to your like driving metaphor, right? it's like going from like a bigger or smaller car, right? And then when you drive it for the first time, it just kind of feels a little bit different. You gotta get used to the weight.
Yes. Yeah.
But then after say like 5 or 10 minutes, it's like, okay, I think I can drive
first
smoothly
few
on
turns
the road.
is fine.
Yeah.
It's not like driving automatic and driving stick. It's not that different.
Yeah.
It's still the same chord, still the same whatever. It's just slightly smaller or slightly bigger. And it's not like ukulele and guitar even. Like it's not that big. So and you can kind of feel like on your frets, like how many frets you're going up or down by. So.
Yeah, I think that's like something that when people start off, they think it's important to get one uke and like get the size right, and they're gonna stick to that size and never play anything different. But then as you just play more and more, and I think for other instruments too, like I think people who play cello, right, like they have a cello size that they prefer, but then if they're given another size, they're like, yeah, I can play this. It's just a little bit different. Yeah. I gotta adjust, but
that's even harder. There's no frets on there.
Yeah. But I think it's doable, and when you play music for a while, you kind of realize like, oh, it's not that, I don't have to really switch my brain. It's not like thinking left hand, right hand, or I don't have to dissect every little detail. It's just like, oh, my body just has to get used to it.
That driving analogy was perfect, and it came from Kahai, who doesn't drive.
I thought about that.
It's like
I was like,
actually very apt. That was like a very good.
I knew for you guys you would think that, but I knew for people who are watching, like,
just call them out. It's called them out.
I've driven golf carts and go-karts. So I kind of get the idea. Yeah.
For those of you folks who who are blind players, I actually my favorite blind ukulele player is a guy named Sean Nishimoto, and that's a name that you guys should definitely look up. Sean Nishimoto, amazing ukulele player, guitar player, drummer, bass player, amazing.
From Hawaii.
Yeah, from Hawaii. And they used to call him BB Sean. He's Blind Boy Sean, but then now he's just Sean Nishimoto. I love that. And he's just like, I'm just Sean Nishimoto.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. I love that.
But you can find like some of his older albums and stuff under BB Sean.
So good. So you can either look up BB Sean or Sean Nishimoto, but like, yeah, if I can end this podcast with like a recommendation, I mean, for everybody to check out Sean Nishimoto. He's awesome. Is it Ishimoto or Nishimoto? I think Nishimoto.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I gotta go look it up.
Is it like is that the Mandela effect? That like is adding the N,
Yeah.
It might be Ishimoto. Ishimoto?
How people might
Ishimoto. See? Yeah. It's like a
how people might
stained bears
might also remember him, right? Is he played for OP Pickers, right?
Yes, he was a drummer for the OP Pickers. Yeah, he was a drummer.
Yeah. So, but he had a long career even before them. So
I saw him, for the first time over at St. Michael's Church here, like for the Kanikapila Kako on a Monday, and I was just blown away, and because he was like, somebody was helping him like to go to find the stage, sit down, and start playing, and he doesn't play. Traditionally like this, where like you're holding it up like so. He plays it on his lap like a piano. He does this, and it's like just the coolest thing that you'll ever see. It's amazing, really, really good. And hearing him play like slack key stuff, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense, to kind of play it that way. But Sean Ishimoto, not Nishimoto. That's some weird Mandela thing that just happened. Yeah. Sean Ishimoto or BB Sean. Check him out. All right. So Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you guys are enjoying this new year. Check out Kanileo Ukulele's 25-year anniversary stream. I don't know exactly when that is, but check out kanileukulele.com. There's all the info there, or check them out on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And you guys can check out our 15-year anniversary lesson, and that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning to our 15 years of just kind of celebrating 15 years of ukulele on the ground, really, don't think of it as like some big party that you know us. We're never that kind to make up some grand thing. It's just like, we'll have like a small party with like 10, 15 people. So, but thank you so much for everything. If you guys are inspired to go check out UU Plus, make sure you check out ukuleleontheground.com and sign up for UU Plus. That gives you the private lessons that we were talking about, and gives you all the access to all the videos and the lessons and all that good stuff. So there it is. Go check out ukuleleunderground.com. We'll see you next time. Have a great one. For those of you who are UU Plus members, stick around for Ukulele on the Ground live coaching. Aloha.